So first of all, melatonin is a hormone. Let me repeat myself. Melatonin is a hormone. It is not a vitamin, it is not a mineral. And by the way, 98% of people have enough melatonin in their system already. They don't necessarily need to take external melatonin. That being said, there's a lot of interesting research that's going on. I was just informed about a study done by Philip Stein, and what they were able to do is they actually took their natural frequency technology disc and they placed it next to human cells.
And I'm not sure people know, what is natural frequency technology?
I'm sorry, so natural frequency technology, it's really interesting. It's technology that's placed into a piece of metal and then it radiates a waveform, if you will. Okay, and that waveform is based on the gravitational pull and the natural waveforms that actually come from the Earth. And so what happens here is, what was really interesting is they took this piece of metal that had the waveform emanating from it, they placed it next to human cells, and the human cells produced 20% more melatonin, which is pretty amazing when you start to see something like that, as opposed to having to take something as a supplement.
Do we, as it happens in life, we have hormonal shifts, as you were talking about.
Of course.
So what are the hormonal shifts, what are the impacts on melatonin? You know, so you were mentioning the menstrual cycle, but also thinking about menopause, etc.
Sure.
What's happening to our melatonin?
Well, what's really interesting is as we age, our cornea actually begins to age as well, and the lens on our eye begins to age as well, and light actually is not filtered as well. The thing to remember about melatonin is it's called the vampire hormone because it only comes out in the presence of darkness, right? And so we have to be careful about our light exposure. And as we age, the wavelengths of light that affect melatonin actually come in quicker. And so that's part of the reason why as we age, we actually find that we don't sleep nearly as well. They did a great study where they actually implanted new lenses into people's eyes because they had cataracts, and they implanted these lenses that had a filter on them for filtering out the wavelength that affects melatonin, and these people instantly slept better. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to go out and have a lens implant to sleep better, but what I am suggesting is that light has a big factor, hormones have a big factor, our overall well-being has a big factor. So making sure that you actually get enough light exposure. For example, one of the things I always tell people is when you wake up in the morning, get 15 minutes of sunlight. It's one of the easiest things you can do. Breathe it in, get the sunlight, it helps reset that circadian clock, and you're going to feel better almost instantly.
Sounds like 15 minutes. I mean, we were hearing from Mariel this morning that 15, take an extra 15 minutes in the morning. It sounds like this 15-minute chunk, which, by the way, we have several 15-minute breaks